Hello everyone, this is the group 7. It is all about the topic that we tackled, Mi Ultimo, Adios. Mi Ultimo, Adios, English, My Last Farewell, is a poem written by Filipino propagandist and writer Dr. Jose Rizal before his execution by firing squad on December 30, 1896. The piece was one of the last notes he wrote before his death. Another that he had written was found in his shoe, but because the text was illegible, its contents remain a mystery. Rizal did not ascribe a title to his poem. Mariano Ponce, his friend and fellow reformist, titled it Mi Ultimo Pensamiento, or My Last Thought. In the copies he distributed, but this did not catch on. Also, the coconut oil lamp containing the poem was not delivered to the Rizal's family until after the execution, as it was required to light the cell. Background: on the afternoon of December 26, 1896, a day before his execution, Dr. Jose Rizal was visited by his mother, Teodora Alonso, sisters Lucia, Josefa, Trinidad, Maria, and Narcisa, and two nephews. When they took their leave, Rizal told Trinidad in English that there was something in the small alcohol stove or consinilla, as opposed to saying coconut oil lamp or lamparilla, which was intended to provide cover for the transportation of the text. The stove was given to Narcisa by guard when the party was about to board their carriage in the courtyard. At home, the Rizal ladies recovered a folded paper from the stove. On it was written an untitled and updated poem of 14 5-line stanzas. The Rizals reproduced copies of the poem and sent them to Rizal's friends in the country and abroad. In 1897, Mariano Ponce in Hong Kong had the poem printed with the title Mi Ultimo Pensamiento. Father Mariano Dacanay, who received a copy of the poem while a prisoner in Bilibid or jail, published it in the first issue of La Independencia on September 25, 1898 with the title Ultimo, Adios. Here's the political impact.
After it was annexed by the United States as a result of the Spanish-American War, the Philippines was perceived as a community of barbarians, incapable of self-government. U.S. Representative Henry A. Cooper, lobbying for management of Philippine affairs, recited the poem before the United States Congress. Realizing the nobility of the piece author, his fellow congressmen enacted the Philippine Bill of 1902, enabling self-government, later known as the Philippine Organic Act of 1902. Despite the fact that the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act was still ineffective and African Americans had yet to be granted equal rights as U.S. citizens, it created the Philippine Assembly, appointed two Filipino delegates to the American Congress, extended the U.S. Bill of Rights to Filipinos, and laid the foundation for an autonomous government. The colony was on its way to independence. Full autonomy would not be granted until July 4, 1946 by Treaty of Manila.
Another Indonesian nationalism.
Indonesian nationalism. The poem was translated into Indonesian by Rosihan Anwar and was recited by Indonesian soldiers before going into battle during the struggle for independence. Anwar recalled the circumstances of the transition. The situation was favorable to promote nationalism. On September 7, 1944, Prime Minister Koizumi of Japan declared that the East Indies would become independent soon, an announcement that was received throughout the islands and got aesthetic treatment in Asia. Raha. The following day, in that context, I thought it would be good that I could disseminate this story about Jose Rizal. Among our younger people at the time, it was quite natural. I thought it would be good to tell the story of Jose Rizal in this rebel against the Spanish. And of course, the climax when he was already sentenced to death and the loud of the first firing squad and wrote the poem. I translated it from the English because I do not know how to speak Spanish. I know French, I know German, but not Spanish. Then according to the custom at the time, everything you want to say over radio station or anything you want to publish in a newspaper, everything must go to first to censor. I sent to it the censor, no objection, it's okay. Then arrangement with my friends and everything must go first to censor. I say it to the censor, no objection, it's okay. Okay, then I made an arrangement with my friend, an Indonesian friend who worked at the radio station where everything was supposed to be supervised by the Japanese. He gave me a chance to read it, which I did.
He read me Ultimo Adios in Jakarta on Saturday, 30 December 1944, the 48th anniversary of Rizal's death. The same day, the paper Asia Raha devoted almost half of its back page to a future and poem on Rizal written by Anwar, accompanied by Anwar's translation.
This is the poem of Mi Ultimo Adios, Spanish. This is the poem of English, My Last Farewell. This is the poem of the Tagalog, is Tahimagkas ni Dr. Jose Rizal.
Mi Ultimo Adios is interpreted into 46 Philippine languages, including Filipino Sign Language, and as of 2005, at least 35 English translations known and published in print. The most popular English translation is the 1911 translation of Charles Derbyshire and is inscribed on bronze. Also on bronze at the Rizal Park in Manila, but less known is the 1944 one of Nobiles Lake Joaquin, a translation to Czech was made by former Czech ambassador to the Republic of the Philippines. In 1927, Luis G. Dato translated the poem from Spanish to English. In rhymes, Dato called it Mi Ultimo Pensamiento. Dato was the first Filipino to translate the poem.
So that's the end. Thank you very much for listening.